Remember crying when Optimus Prime died?
Or the days when every series had a ham-fisted anti-drug episode.
Or when you wrote fan fiction about how the Animaniacs were so hot in that water tower, so they took off all their clothes and they started...
No, different podcast.
This one is Knowing is Half the Podcast, a show devoted to the best and worst animated memories of your childhood.
Every week we recap a cartoon from the past to see if they're as good as you remember.
They're not.
What are you talking about? They're great!
You're both wrong. None of them get good until they're in a water tower.
No!
And Knowing is Half the
Podcast.
Hey, this is Danny from the Magic Our Way podcast, and you guys are listening to the BS Podcast Network.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Lukewarm Cinema Podcast. My name is Austin, and today I'm joined by...
George.
and Christian.
Boo.
Stop.
Oh my God, no. All right, well, we got a little bit of a short episode for you guys this week, but we're giving you an episode nonetheless, so be grateful. No, I'm just kidding. We're grateful for all of you.
Yeah, I mean, we're right around the season of giving and thanks. So I think our audience should give us a little thanks for producing the way we have this year.
We're gonna lose all of our listeners now. I hope you understand that.
Well, you know, if they aren't willing to give back, then we didn't want them in the first place.
We are your leader, and you will respect us.
But no, we do honestly. We love you guys. You guys have to understand that sometimes, like with 3 people, you know, there's a lot of life situations that happen. We don't live in the same house.
No.
You
Thank
can't
God.
record all the GD time. Austin's got a kid, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, goddamn kids, man.
How is Rowan doing? I know.
He's doing good now. He's beating my ass every night.
While throwing up on you, or
No. Like, you
William
see,
picks and
like
chooses.
these, that's all him. He's
Buddy throws the fist.
No, he likes to throw teeth.
Ooh. Woof.
He watched the one Mike Tyson fight, and he was like, I want to do that.
That's a champ.
Hey, it's taking after strong characters, strong, figures.
Too bad Mike
Impressive.
Tyson had a really fucked up childhood. Let's avoid that.
I beat this kid up because he killed my pigeon. The pigeon was my pet. It was my only friend, was that pigeon.
Sorry, mosquitoes.
Well, I'm sorry, mosquitoes. My mom's coming. She's allergic. If you guys haven't seen it, you gotta watch is this just the Mike Tyson show?
Mike Tyson Mysteries
It
on
was
Adult
I've seen
Swim.
that.
Oh
I've
my God,
seen
it's so
that.
great. I gotta rewatch it. It's just Scooby-Doo with Mike Tyson and more like just out of this world and just stupid. But anyways, getting back to the season, it's the spooky season, as you heard. Christian is very easily scared.
Stop.
Anyways, we just got done watching Hubie Halloween, which was the newest I think it's only been out for like a couple days now at this point. New Adam Sandler film on Netflix. George was having a rough day, so we were like, let's just watch something mindless. And how entertained were you?
It was definitely what I needed. I like today. I mean, I rarely do this when I have these days where I cause like so much stress on myself. Try to avoid them. Why I take a lot of vitamins, do a lot of
Vitamins.
extracurriculars to get my mind off of things. Because like, yeah, I needed something to just completely take me out of this world for a little bit. And Hubie Halloween did that, and it perfectly. I'm so glad. They hit me up saying, you know, let's do a podcast today. And of course, like, you're having a stressed out day, and then they're like, let's have do a podcast. And I'm like, well, if we don't do one today, then, you know, I can't give this to the listeners. So I was like, let's do it. And they come over, and Hubie Halloween, like where should we start with this? Should we talk about,
we'll do
a little synopsis?
Very small, because I know we'll do
Yeah.
3.5 hours of synopsis. So basically, it's about this guy, Hubie Halloween. They live in Salem, and he's just like, he's basically like a grown incel.
He is Adam Sandler.
He is Adam
This is
Sandler.
the Adam
He
Sandler.
seems like if Billy Madison became an older man and even more learning disabled.
I think it would be more like Bobby Boucher
Same.
just grew up, because
I think it's my bad. I think it's
no,
the
go ahead.
evolution of Bobby.
I think so too. I think he came out of college and was like, you know, I like Halloween.
his mom like kind of transformed from a Louisiana, Southern woman
To
to
a East Coast uptight, very proper woman.
little white woman.
Who likes to wear shirts that says I shaved my balls for this.
Yeah, she went Goodwill shopping before the movie. That's a little. They have lots of just great little comedy points throughout. But so, anyways, they start off Halloween time in Salem.
And
Hubie, who's Adam Sandler.
He's basically just like a neighborhood watch guy, and the whole movie is about him. Halloween is his favorite holiday, and like I guess in years past, he just tries to like keep everybody safe and make sure it's fun for everybody. And the whole movie is just, not to give too much away because it just came out. This isn't this, I guess, kind of spoilers, but most of the movies we review have been out for like 10, 15 years, so it's like,
No, we're finally with the times now.
Yeah, we're finally with the times. He basically just has a bunch of events happen to him while trying to help everybody during Halloween. So
he had like a really bad upbringing. He's grown up in this town of Salem, and being learning disabled, like we said, like he got picked on a lot, and he just it's not that he's learning disabled. He's just a little bit odd. Chris, how would you describe his persona?
Okay. So like you said, the town hates him because A, he's kind of dumb, right? And B, because he's like a busybody, but he's really just trying to look after everyone. So he's kind of like the narc. He's like stupid and he's a narc, right? So that's why the town hates him. But he's really this kind guy. And he just wants everybody to be safe. And the movie is kind of like a murder mystery of sorts.
yeah,
Okay.
like a whodunit.
Yeah, who done it? That's the better way to put it. And starting on Halloween night, Hubie Dubois starts to notice that people are getting, what would you call it? Going missing?
Yeah, going missing.
Throughout the night. So it's like, oh, he has to get to the bottom of the mystery, right?
With everybody going, shut the fuck up, Hubie.
Yeah, everybody hates him. Total pushback the whole movie. A running joke in the movie is a shot of him riding his bicycle around, and the just random people pelting him. First it's eggs, right? Then later
But it's not the entire movie.
And it ramps up the ridiculousness to where like the last time you see it happen, they're basically throwing like debris at him.
There's a flaming arrow that shot and just landed right in front of him. Whole bunch of good stuff.
A whole bunch of good stuff. This thing was Easter egg galore. George, and even like Christian and I were like, hey, look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
I think it's a perfect Adam Sandler film in the sense where this is the same kind of cast that you've seen in Grown Ups. You've seen them in The Waterboy.
Basically, if it's an Adam Sandler production,
you've seen them. You can guess who the cast is right now. And while I let you do that, of course, Rob Schneider's in it. Promise you.
Of course. You just got to wait for it.
Steve Buscemi, he's in there. Okay, if you haven't thought of him already, he's in there. Okay.
But Nick Schwartzen, though. I was looking for Nick. And
Shaquille O'Neal. All right,
Shaq's
I just said it. He's got Shaq in there. Yes.
You got to find out for yourself what role that is, though.
Look, there's a lot of great names in this movie that you'd absolutely expect from a Adam Sandler movie, and some that you definitely wouldn't. But no character feels out of place. Every character feels extremely appreciated. Okay, beginning of the movie, he's getting pelted by some kids. Hubie's getting pelted by eggs, and he falls off his bike into his new neighbor's yard. Okay, Steve Buscemi comes out. He's an old man, or Buscemi. Never knew how to say the name.
Buscemi.
Don't at me.
It's Buscemi.
Buscemi. That's all you get. Okay, Hubie's old neighbors have moved out. Steve Buscemi is living there now. He's an old man. And like, he basically acts all nice, but then he says, and Hubie, if you hear any unsettling noise in the middle of the night, don't come here. It's very important that you don't come checking around. So from the get-go, they tell you, okay, there's something off about Steve Buscemi's character.
Yes. Yes. And
it's funny because Hubie, he's aloof. He doesn't pick up on it. He just think, oh, he's just some nice, nice neighbor.
I want to point out like how much this man's hated, because we've said it, I think 3 times now. I think the 4th time I really wanted to hit home. he was generationally hated.
Oh yeah, his great grandmother was killed in the Salem witch trials because she was like, "There's no witches," and they were like, "Nah, you're definitely a witch if you're saying that."
Oh, that's a good sidebar. It takes place in the town of Salem.
Yes.
And it's obviously a Halloween themed movie, so which that part's really cool because they have the radio station, the WTCH, which it's reporting throughout the Halloween night, a nice sexy radio female voice saying, it's going to be one spooky Hallows Eve. So stay tuned in to WTCH. She's giving us
Foreshadowing
readings throughout the whole story, right?
If you live in Las Vegas, it's very similar to like a 106.5.
106.5 or like
Delilah.
Mix 94.1. Oh, Delilah. Good old Delilah.
At 106.5.
Honey,
Very similar.
Honey, your husband is cheating on you. Well, he just went to the store. No, honey, he's cheating on you.
No.
Vanessa and I would listen to her all the time. And Vanessa, I hate this bitch.
The stories are great.
Oh, they'll be like, yeah, I just took my ex back after he killed our first child, sold our second child, and then cheated on me. And Delilah would be like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And they'd be like, yeah, love is great. I want to dedicate this song to him. And she's like, I guess. She's like,
Never want to give you up. Never want to let you down.
The podcast just got rickrolled. Sorry about that. But yeah, I got, now that you mentioned, I definitely got a Delilah on Sunny 106.5.
5?
Yeah.
Yes. So, okay. Some things that I really thoroughly enjoyed about the movie. It has a lot of adult humor in it. Like, it's not trying to like play around with, I don't know, what you can consider kiddish humor. Because at the beginning, you really get the vibe of like, oh, it could be like a little kid type movie.
Oh, it's Hotel Transylvania 4. Nah, guess what?
No, but I think the scene that it said at the beginning, I think it's like a compilation of all Halloween movies in a sense, where you got like the scene of it's Halloween night, everybody's in costumes walking around down the street, and then the one weird guy putting on a pig mask walking down the street and blends in with like the crowd of costumes.
Or you're Hubie and you have a piss stained sheet as your ghost costume. He walks into a school to give him like a be safe out there tonight, and somebody's like, "Is that pee stains?"
Yeah, a running source of humor in this movie is that Hubie is like learning disabled. Like, just to put it in a simple
I wouldn't
way.
say learning disabled. I would just say so overly sheltered that he's just not aware of things.
Yeah.
Okay.
With a tad bit of learning disability.
I'm not saying it's not possible. Definitely could be.
I think it's just a visual disability. Like like mentally when he speaks, it's clear, it's coherent, but it's in the way he says it, he doesn't really move his bottom lip. And then if you were to see somebody talking like that in person, you'd probably be like, that person's probably learning disabled. Very Bobby Boucher-esque.
Which is, I think, possibly he could be like a cousin. Because his love interest's last name is Valentine.
Like Vicky Valentine?
Like isn't Vicky Valentine from Waterboy? Isn't that her last name?
Yeah, I was debating. Is it Valancourt?
Oh, it's Valancourt.
Is it
They could be cousins too.
Vicky Valancourt?
Vicky Valancourt. She showed me her boobies. I like them too.
The double V though. I mean, that's the Easter egg.
Because you got Violet Valentine, Vicky Valancourt, Hubie Dubois, Bobby Boucher.
As much as this movie is a parody of all Halloween movies and also a great Halloween themed movie itself, it's like a parody of all Adam Sandler movies, which, as unholy as this sounds, it's connecting the Adam Sandler cinematic universe. It's like
Marvel ain't got shit on Adam Sandler.
It's like, remember there was some book by Stephen King that they say ties together all his other books?
Vaguely, yes.
And people are like, whoa, that's crazy.
This is the movie that ties them all together.
Our culture is so like, has swirled to the point where there's an Adam Sandler cinematic universe to respect.
But he deserves it. This man,
I say he does too.
Netflix,
I don't agree, or I don't disagree. Excuse me.
Netflix locked that guy up, and he's produced like what? There's another one. There's like that cowboy movie. I really enjoyed that one.
Oh,
it had Rob Schneider in it.
Ridiculous Six.
Yeah, Ridiculous.
Yeah,
Six.
we gotta watch that next.
or Netflix originals. The Do Over, the one where
Oh, the most recent one with what's his face? Joe Dirt.
yeah, yeah. I think that wasn't the Do Over.
No, that's something else. But that's a Netflix.
But he's
exclusive,
come
I
out
believe.
with 4. I think Netflix is just like pretty much broke the bank on
It's
Adam
like
Sandler.
it's like a blur at this point. Another Adam Sandler movie. Wow, it's out. It's in the world.
But they're
I'm gonna
always
laugh.
so good. They're always so good.
I mean, here's the
Yes,
thing.
they
though.
are.
They're not like, oh my god, it's the best movie ever, but they're good to like. I would watch that again, and I think that's like except Jack and Jill. I think that's most of his movies. I would watch again.
I never actually watched Jack and Jill.
I watched it once and I fell asleep, and I was like, yeah, this probably wasn't worth watching.
So, okay. Like we said, it connects a lot of things and Easter eggs throughout the movie. What is one noticeable or memorable part in the movie for, let's start with you, Chris. Like something that you were like, man, I like the way this tied together to a past Sandler movie, or something where, you know, it was something new, but you just like the style of it.
Okay, I like that it in the way that it's a parody of like all Adam Sandler movies. You had the typical plot point of the romance interest is in like an older blonde woman, right? This is just off the top of my head. I remember that was Billy Madison, right?
Yes.
And however many other movies that he did. And so I really like that as it relates to other Adam Sandler movies. One of my favorite scenes was, you know, because he's like a busybody, you know, he's roaming around like a neighborhood force on Halloween night. And this little girl goes up to a door to get some candy. And the sign says, 1 candy only. You know, everybody who's been trick-or-treating has seen it. And there's always the one kid who takes a handful, or some kid who takes the whole bowl. Right? It never works out that way. The little girl starts to take a second one. And then right that second, Hubie steps out from behind a tree and says, all right, now hold on there.
This is what we're not about to do.
ready to lecture her. Like this was a setup. Okay.
Like he's staking it out, and like this is what Hubie lives for. This is
This
his
little
calling.
girl's parents were recording her, like, you know, like, oh, it's Halloween.
As she's
getting
dressed
her
up as
first
a very
candy.
provocative Harley Quinn, as every girl in the movie was basically.
I like that. It felt very like South Park, like,
Yeah.
like where they're. I think South Park did it when Fortnite skins came out, and then their Halloween episode, and then every kid had on the Fortnite skins 2 years ago. Very similar.
I thought it was a very good joke. Basically, if just a few years ago, that was the joke. It was like, oh, everybody's Harley Quinn this year.
After Suicide Squad came out, and they're like, I'm Harley Quinn. I'm like, you look like you ate Harley Quinn, but
I think he said at some point in time, he said, he's like, next year use your fishnets for fishing.
yeah, he's like, make sure to save your fish nets for fishing for next year.
Yeah. And it's like, which it makes me like suspect that since this is a seasonal movie, they probably started making this sometime around October last year.
Mhm.
So it predates some of the COVID stuff.
Or they probably just did it anyways. But yeah, I agree. It probably does predate.
Cause that's what was funny before, you know, like we were talking about like Harley Quinn, like everybody's wearing a Harley Quinn outfit for Halloween, you
Everybody's
know?
gonna be Joe Exotic this year, and fucking Carol Baskin.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
calling it now.
That's a great costume. I'm going to get a Prince Albert and everything. If you don't know what a Prince Albert is, look it up. You guys know?
No.
He knows. You want to
Okay.
tell him, Austin? Tell him what a Prince Albert is.
What's a Prince Albert?
When a man loves a woman, the man goes and gets a piercing on his wiener,
Goes
What part?
right through the head.
right through the head.
Why?
It's supposed to like feel better, I guess. I don't know. I ain't no
It
scientist.
helps with kidney stone. I don't know.
I ain't never had to
fishes
pass
him
another
out.
kidney stone again. It just falls out the bottom.
Okay.
Thank
well,
God we have explicit tags on this
Yes.
show.
Yes, you are now informed on what a Prince Albert is. You're welcome.
Sex ed with George. Y'all ever wonder why it looks like that?
I'm going to hit you guys with one piercing each episode. You guys just got to stay tuned throughout. Something really exotic
He's
and
gonna
out
make
there.
one up. He's gonna be like, "Yeah, I just found out the Royal Albert Hall. What is that? You pierce your 2 feet together."
That reminds me of the made up sex positions we found out about in high school.
No, middle school.
Or
You're telling me this shit in seventh grade.
Yeah. Yeah, there was always like, oh, what's a Philadelphia Hot Pocket or like
This kid in high school though was telling me these, and then he said, you ever heard of the Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad? And I was like, no, what is that? He's like, all right, you need another person, 2 weeks, you need to go out to the woods and have a gerbil. And I was like, what wait a minute.
Sounds like the greatest like start to a story ever.
He just left it at that though.
I know.
Christian would always tell me
let
about
him-
like the lobster swing or something.
it was like the inverted lobster or some shit. Or the Taiwanese ammo belt.
What has this podcast come? Hubie Dubois never had sex. There we go. There's
That's what it led to. Hubie Dubois has never had sex.
Tie it back. He but now he's got a love interest. And obviously, right?
Homegirl was throwing out so many goddamn hints. I asked George, I was like, George, would you picked up on the hints? And George goes, I would have clapped that like 15 years ago.
I would have clapped it the second she was bad. I mean, his love interest was married originally to the police chief in the movie.
Kevin James, not Kevin Hart. Kevin James,
but Kevin James playing like a like long-haired,
He had a
full
mullet.
beard. He looked badass. I did not know it was Kevin James at first.
Oh, I did. As soon as I saw him, I was like, that's Kevin James.
I figured it was, but at the same time, he was so hidden.
There you go. It ties into Paul Blart. Paul Blart became an actual officer.
It does, and somehow I don't know. Keenan Thompson is his partner.
Which is pretty funny too, though. He's like, not to interrupt you, but there's a scene where like he's talking about the sergeant is telling Hubie about all the times he's interrupted him, and like one time he comes in with like an afro, like, and it's like a montage, and then Keenan's like, I didn't know he was so well disguised, and he just had like an afro on, but nothing else. He's like, I couldn't tell.
Because the busybody Hubie Dubois would go to the police for just about everything that was going on in the
There's
city.
this busy guy in the old folks home.
Oh man, but yeah, he like dodged him with like an afro and shaved his little mustache.
And then like he goes, the package went around the left. He's like, why didn't you go to the left? I didn't see him.
Oh, he moves fast to the
Yeah,
left.
he moves fast to the left. He goes, why don't you just tell the package that I was a mannequin or something?
I was just gonna say, like, it felt like an SNL skit at times. That's what I feel every time I see
Yeah,
Keenan
but
Thompson
good.
now. A good SNL skit, yeah, but at the same time, like, I don't know. That's what I remember him most for.
Yeah. Well, it's because that's like he's like the longest running member
Probably.
on SNL. No, he is. Like,
If-
I asked my dad the other night because he was watching. I was like, who's been on the longest? He was like, I think Keenan has. Like is still there.
Yeah. No, I just watched this past week SNL. They had Bill Burr as the.
Bill Burr. I got to watch his monologue. Apparently, it's very politically like.
Oh, it was
fueled.
great. It was great.
I love people getting pissed off at Bill Burr.
Bill Burr is so.
He's such a
goddamn
reasonable
funny.
guy. Like,
Not to derive too far, but with him and Joe Rogan on Joe Rogan's podcast, it's so funny. Like he tells the stories about like how like because he grew up in Boston, like people just fight there because it's Boston. And he was like, when I got into 6th grade, I realized I should probably work on the funny thing because I can't fight. He's like, people are getting like, there's blood now and broken bones. He's like, I'm not cut out for that. I'm just gonna. Quick story about him is he was at like the off-campus like college housing with his friends. And his one friend went up to try to get beer and he comes down all fucked up and he's like, what happened? He's like, these dudes beat me up. And they're like, oh, hell no. And there's like 12 of them. So they all like, oh, let's go. And they go up the stairs and they knock on the door and they go, oh, we're having a party. And they just start fighting. Like this people,
That's badass.
like all these people, the fighting stops and they go, oh, wait, this is the wrong room. It was just like two couples like having like a game night.
Oh,
And they just started
God.
fighting. So he's like, shit, we went to the wrong place. Bill Burr, ladies and gentlemen.
Classic.
Anyways.
Well, how did we? Oh, that was SNL. He was the SNL.
Yeah, I
Great
guess we'll
monologue.
move
But
to
yeah.
me about. Oh well, because we were on Christian about what his favorite Easter egg or what he liked the most.
Well, he said that scene.
yeah, when he's a
Scolding
narc.
the
He's
kid.
being a total narc about the amount of
Candy
candy. So it was great because like he's obviously a busybody, and that's one of the reasons the reason that everybody in the town just hates him, aka throws flaming arrows at him, etc. But the reason that he succeeds is because he's a busybody. So it's kind of like
He's persistent.
It's kind of like, oh, he's different. Everybody hates him because he's different, but then he does something nobody else could do because he was different, type of shit. And it was very woke and epic.
I would agree. I think what my favorite scene had to have been the haunted house scene. Because I knew something great was coming. Hubie gets scared just by anything, like people just doing a momentary just spook, like how Austin scared Chris at the beginning. Boo!
Hey, bro.
Okay, I think it's only Austin.
Yeah, I have the touch.
I think Austin's the only one that's able to do
I
that.
have the touch. After,
But just like Christian is when Austin scares him, Hubie gets scared at everything, and then so he's finally chasing like what was the murder, what he thought the murder was. I'm gonna leave it at that. And he chases it into the haunted house, and he starts getting spooked in every which direction. And it's just a classic. Like I feel in every Adam Sandler movie, there's that one montage of him just going, and I hate to say the term, but he goes full retard in a sense of just like he's getting spooked by everything, and people are telling him, "No, Hubie, no,
I'm surprised
like, this
he
is
didn't
not
piss himself.
real. This is like they literally said." This is for our community, like
a school. We're raising money for a school.
We're raising money for a school. We're not trying to spook you that bad. And
I'm legit surprised he didn't piss himself.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be in there. Like fucking Rob Schneider. I'm pissing right now.
Don't get us wrong. There was urination in the movie, just not at this juncture. Okay.
God, I don't care. I'll go ahead and spoil it. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, go ahead a minute or so. He's worried about this person being like a shapeshifter into a dog. So he goes up to this husky who's outside the thing, and he's like, "Okay, Mr. Walter, I need you to relax, okay?" He's like trying to talk to this, and the dog just looks at him and then just starts shitting. And then the dog eats the shit. Like that was one of the funnier parts, is like the dog is just like, "I'm being a fucking dog," and he's like, "Oh my god, is that Mike Mundy? Are you eating Mike Mundy?"
Yeah, it's basically at one point he thinks his neighbor, Mr. Walter, is a werewolf, and he loses him, but then sees a dog and says, "The transformation is complete. You're Mr. Walter," right? So he's trying to talk the dog down, and it's just a dog.
Going off of Easter eggs, that scene reminded me of Little Nicky. Get in the flask. He's just walking up to like
I don't remember Little Nicky.
Oh, dude, that's such a good movie. That's a classic. There's like a scene where he's walking up to a bear and trying to, because his brothers are demons, so they get sucked into this flask. So he's walking up to the bear. He's like, "Get in the flask." The bear's like, "Roar." It's like, shit.
Is the flask also an Easter egg to his secret weapon?
Maybe. Well, this thing was just that, but his secret weapon.
I was thinking like this is what we have to like kind of end with, because this thing's badass.
Yeah. You have a book open. It looks like you're about to be philosophical on us.
Yeah, I did want to read this one thing really quick.
Please read it.
So yeah, it really tied together with the lesson I had with my kids today. We're reading this book called "Make Your Bed: Little Things That Can Change Your Life and Maybe the World." And had Hubie Dubois possibly read
I think
chapter
he wrote
7.
it. I think he might have wrote it.
He might have been a part. I got to check that at the end. But this chapter was about how you got to stand up to your bullies. So like there was this perfect scene in here, or perfect little section in the book that I want to read for you guys. It said, "Our goal, which we believe to be honorable and noble, gave us courage, and courage is a remarkable quality. Nothing and nobody can stand in your way. Without it, others will define your path. Without it, you are at the mercy of life's temptation. Without courage, men ruled by tyrants or despots," which I don't know that word. I had to look it up.
I don't remember. Okay. Context.
Without courage, great society can flourish. Without courage, the bullies of the world rise up. With it, you can accomplish any goal. With it, you can defy and defeat.
Hell yeah, dude.
I'm a monitor.
They say like if like something bad is happening to everybody, but nobody says anything about it, that's what makes bad shit happen. Like, oh, if somebody's doing something bad, you better call them out on it, because then they'll, it'll go crazy.
Yeah, like Christian, you're hoarding all of our podcast money.
Look, the Amazon can opener iceberg has only revealed its tip. There's millions of varieties of can openers available on Amazon that was not available to the consumer 5 years ago.
Anybody who has donated or bought a shirt or anything, this is where your money is going.
We were wondering where our money has gone, and it's ED can.
I got one that has a heated handle.
What the fuck do you need a heated handle for?
Does it heat the soup like as it's opening it?
No, but you can get ones that do.
The amount of seriousness in Christian's face has me a little concerned right now.
There has been a great deal of research behind it. I can tell.
I got another spoiler.
Yes.
So if you don't want to hear this, move ahead. Probably about 30 seconds to a minute.
Yes. Go.
His fucking mom at the end. Holy shit. So you come to find out his mom is the one that, is taking everybody. And so she has them on like a stake, like how they would be in the Salem witch trials. And he goes, Mom, you can't. He's like, I can't do this. And she's like, I know, I can't. She comes up with like a bottle or like a tub of gasoline and just starts pouring it like no fucking remorse. She's like in her 70s and just like, I'll do it.
Yeah. So all the people that have gone missing and Hubie Dubois is on the case trying to figure out, who it is. He thinks it's the werewolf. He thinks it's Rob Schneider's character who has escaped from the asylum. It's this whodunit, right? And in typical whodunit fashion, it was the person you least suspect.
Just say sus, like you're playing Among Us. You don't have to.
Suspect. Okay.
Yeah. She was the least sus.
With all of her shirts.
Yeah. They disarm you. They fucking disarm you. Okay.
Especially with her saying boners are mistakes. So he's at the school saying, I made a lot of boners. I wish I could get them back.
Yeah. Honestly, like, I'm surprised nobody thought there was like some like child touching energy behind this guy.
Oh, I swear.
When I first saw him, he has a mustache. It's definitely like a kid touching look. Okay, I will say, but he was good. He was a good guy. He wanted to do it.
Oh my God. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Oh my God. I can't believe the mom almost burned the freaking people at the stake. Like that is.
Well, she walks up like a fucking bat, like, we have to kill them.
Yeah, which the reason why was because everybody bullies Hubie. So she's like, I'm gonna be dead soon. So I have to make the town safe for you, Hubie. So I'm gonna kill all the people who are bullying you. And she has all four of them strung up on a witch's stake in the backyard.
That it was classic. That is a classic scene.
And like she walks in from out of frame with just a gallon of gasoline, just starts pouring it. And she goes to light the fucking match.
Hubie's face, though, I mean, it just builds up in fashion because, it's his mom. Like, he's so conflicted at that moment. Like, he wants to do everything that's right, but then at the same time, he's having flashbacks of them, tormenting him. And he's like, his bottom lip is moving. He doesn't know how to feel, you know what I mean? And you gotta, I don't think we should spoil the ending.
No. But
they have to, and our listeners have to think, do they get burned at the stake?
But I will say, when his mom does, move away from the situation, does the good old Frankenstein blunder that Hubie pulls at the beginning of earlier in the movie?
Yes.
Frankenstein.
Oh
Shit, she's gone. And I'll turn around and then Kevin James like, we fought for that twice tonight. What the hell?
Okay, so I want to end here with the greatest, I think,
part of the movie.
Yeah. No, I think in all time, I don't think I've ever seen a more classic weapon or like piece of.
It reminds me of like the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse with his mouse tools.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Inspector Gadget.
So it's a thermos. Hubie Dubois carries around a flannel thermos.
But it's like pure red. But at the beginning of the movie,
is it pure red? I thought it had some stripes on it.
It had like engraved marks on it.
Got you.
But like the beginning of the movie, he like drinks out of it, and then these kids throw eggs at him, and he catches it in there, and he's like, "Oh, thanks for breakfast."
Rocky Balboa style.
He just hucks it all on the side of the road. But,
yeah. Okay. So there's like a almost don't mess with the Zohan energy to where he's like a savant. He
can duck everything that's thrown at him, even when he's not looking.
He's riding the bike, dodging eggs from the kids by steering. Okay. Unscrews his thermos, catches 3 of the eggs in the thermos while riding, then dodges more by flipping the bike around and bicycling backwards, dodging more, then flipping it back around. Okay. He has like otherworldly ability. Okay. Don't know why that's a thing, but that's part of it.
So the thermos not only can catch eggs in it and
Well-
do what a normal thermos does.
Yeah, but you
Right.
like it slowly over time reveals more.
Okay, first thing that you kind of figure it out early. The thermos is like on like one of those little belt loop clip things. So he'll never lose his thermos.
Because Maya Rudolph's character is like, aren't you afraid you're going to lose it? He goes, nope. And he just hucks it out and pulls it back. like a Go Gadget.
So, okay, I'm just going to go off because if I try to get too formal with it, I'm going to forget shit. So this thermos in the movie has soup in it. You can blend soup. He also had eye black that like when it got down to like he was like walking through a maze, badass scene, just, goes in his thermos, eye blacks it.
War paint.
What else?
He
What else?
He used it as a
It
flashlight.
has mace. He maced one of the dudes in the fucking haunted house. He's like, I'm a dentist. I help people. Why?
He used it as a vacuum in the beginning of the movie.
He vacuumed up glass.
He
with
vacuumed
it.
broken glass. So like shop vac tier, bro.
Uses it as a megaphone.
As a megaphone.
Oh, he also has a grappling hook on it. So when
Yeah.
he's running away from somebody, he grapple hooks.
He
so he can
Batmans it.
fly off or fly over this fence.
And then he makes like these kids ones at the end of the movie. One of them has a fucking flare gun.
Oh yeah, he gets with a girl and he makes the two of the kids their own thermos, which are also high tech. One has a flare gun in it.
The other one has a blow dryer, but it's like industrial grade blow dryer.
And like this, like the guys, this is a normal thermos. It maybe has like, it looks like it has like one secret compartment.
But and it's not like everybody's like, what the fuck? Everybody's like, yeah, I've seen that.
You don't even get a close up of this thermos. I think the closest you get might be like a medium shot. So there's so much suspense behind
And
it.
then so earlier he's at the like museum and he's hanging out with the love interest and her kids are there. He's like, oh yeah, and he goes, hi, oh, this is Hubie. Oh, what school are you from? and he goes, I'm not in school. She goes, oh, is the thermos? He goes, oh, soup. You want some soup? And then he's like, what about your classmates? And they're like, no.
Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, like it's part of the like weird, like older guy aesthetic. He just has a thermos full of soup with him at all times. That's important.
So
Somehow.
he was in the Scouts. He was most likely to marry his pillow in his yearbook too.
Okay, that too. To preface the whole fucking thermos, he says to somebody, "It's like a Swiss Army thermos made it when I was in the Scouts." That's all we get.
I wish I did that in the Scouts when I was in the Scouts. I wish we made goddamn thermoses.
Oh my, okay. And then so one of the last classic things that happens in this movie about the thermos is he's walking through this maze, he's lost, and then he says, man, I really wish my thermos had a compass on it. Like,
yeah, the one thing he needs it doesn't
thing.
have. Well, this movie was awesome. It was great. It was just a nice like. Oh well, you're welcome, Siri.
Oh.
Siri just said
They know the producers are robots. I'm pulling the funding. My name is not going to be on this.
You're welcome, Siri. Siri just thanked us for complimenting her. It was a great like mind number. Just kind of like as you said, George wasn't having such a good day. I didn't have really a good day yesterday. Christian's just bad all the time.
I'm goop.
So we just watched it and it was funny. It was genuinely funny. Even for Adam Sandler with how oversaturated the market is of this movie, it was funny. I highly recommend you watch it. What about you guys? We got to do our rating. We have our first 5, which was last week with Borat.
Yep. You want me to start us off? I can.
Go ahead, George.
I'll hit you guys with a. This is a 3.25 by now, in my opinion. I think excellent comedy breaks. I think it's a typical Adam Sandler, shoot the shit kind of film. It has a lot of characters, so I feel you don't get to go as in depth as you would like into some like the side characters. And we've mentioned that in past Sandler films. It's like there's so many good side characters that we just want to see more of. And this movie does that. It leaves you wanting more, of those guys.
Maybe we'll have Hubie Hanukkah because they're Jewish.
Maybe, dude, I really do see somehow him doing another one of these films tying together like the Adam Sandler universe. cinematic universe.
The ADCU, the Adam Sandler Cinematic Universe.
We'll see if there's a Reddit thread out there. If not, we'll start one.
We'll start one.
But yeah, I 3 and I said 3/4. Yeah, 3 3/4 pineapple.
Ooh, you went up from 3 1/4 to 3 3/4.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you said 3 1/4.
I meant to say 3 and 3/4.
Oh, okay. So almost 4.
3.75 pineapples.
What about you, Christian?
Okay. So I don't go off the metric system. My math is Yugoslavian. So 8.5 chickeniks. But I can see you guys are a little confused about culture. So I'll
enlighten me.
I'll translate to your guys' scale. About 4 pineapples. It's a great seasonal movie. I've always had a special thing for Halloween seasonal movies specifically. I used to watch Halloween Town, right? Stuff like
Hocus
that.
Pocus.
Hocus Pocus. That was another one of the good ones.
Die Hard, because that's just in every holiday film if you ask their fans.
Don't open that box.
There's no box to open.
Don't open
Bruce
that
Willis
box.
himself said it's not a Christmas movie.
You want to know something? The original synopsis of Home Alone didn't have any mention of Christmas, right? And Die Hard's original synopsis did. So there's like a theory that Home Alone wasn't originally meant to be a Christmas movie, and they just marketed it because of the release.
That's
Episode over.
Point being, well,
So
point
you
where's
said-
that Reddit thread?
So you said 4 pineapples.
yeah, 4 pineapples
Okay.
because great seasonal movie. All the side characters are really funny. It was stupid, which is what I want from an Adam Sandler movie. Very specific.
I'm gonna have to go with 3.5 pineapples. I liked it a lot, but it's an Adam Sandler movie, so I don't know. Some of the acting felt I don't like cringy acting, and a little bit of the acting felt over the top for me, but overall, I still highly recommend you guys watch this. What about you guys? George,
Yeah.
George is doing the math.
I was doing the math because I want to get an average pineapples here, and it was 3 1/4 pineapples. I should have figured it's the middle between you. I thought that.
See, in Yugoslavian math, all decimals add up to a
It was
whole number.
Chekhov. Yeah, I Chekhov's. You know, Baishnik.
You guys know we do have
Bullshit.
people who listen like in Eastern Europe, right?
Nyum,
No.
Yeah, we do. We just
Now
offended.
we do.
Now
Oh, Yugoslavia is a dead state, so there's nobody to offend.
I thought it only existed in Call of Duty. I'm gonna be honest.
What movie were we watching where you were like, oh, those countries are fake? We were watching Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
yeah,
And they were showing
Indiana
all the
Jones-
European countries. You're like, those are made up. But I'm like, no, those are real.
I was like, oh shit, now I sound insensitive.
See, look, I'm white. I could talk shit about Europe all I want. I get the ticket. Okay.
I don't know half of the countries until the Olympics come around, and I'm like, oh, Barbados. I thought that was a made up.
Germany is still around?
What?
Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide. Well, everybody, we highly recommend you go and watch this. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook under the Lukewarm Cinema Podcast. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify. Please go ahead and leave a review. Please.
Por favor.
Big love.
Dziękuję.
And in true Borat fashion, until next week, Dziękuję.
Dziękuję.
Dziękuję.